Welcome to the channel, guys. So, the SAVE Act just got real. And it's incredible that we have to beg, borrow, and steal to get something passed that roughly 85% of Americans want, depending on the way you ask the question. Okay, and we all know how that works with polls. But there's been a sudden and dramatic shift from a multi-year legislative standoff into active, fast-moving budget maneuvers last week, 2 weeks, week and a half. After stalling under standard congressional rules for a long period, the bill is seeing unprecedented movement due to several major developments that culminated over the last week. The budget reconciliation strategy by bypassing the filibuster for the last 2 years, the bill was completely blocked in the Senate by the 60-vote filibuster threshold. So in the last couple of weeks, House Republicans successfully approached a budget resolution to advance the core elements of the SAVE Act via the reconciliation process. Now, I've been talking about this. Senator Kennedy has been talking about this. You've got the parliamentarian, who, by the way, was an Obama appointee, a holdover, and she's saying, no, you can't use reconciliation for this, but she's probably pretty mad today because they went around her in the most genius way possible. I would appreciate if you guys would like and share the video out. Tremendous boost to the channel, and I have some awesome information for you. So, what the House Republicans did is direct piggybacking, okay, on other major legislation that it's must pass legislation. So, in an effort to force a vote, House Speaker Johnson and Republican leadership have begun splitting up pieces of the SAVE Act and attaching them to must-have unrelated legislation. So listen to what they did. Most recently, they attached photo identification requirements to a high-profile bill meant to ban members of Congress from trading stocks. While the SAVE Act spent 2 years as a stagnant, partisan messaging bill that could not clear a filibuster, the events of the last week have transformed it into a multi-billion-dollar budget battle, a tool for reshaping Senate procedural rules and the central focus of potential government shutdown. So you got to check this out because multiple things are happening here at once. We've got Congress passing a special rule putting the full text of the SAVE Act right onto, as I said, must pass national security legislation or funding. House Republicans also passed a $1.15 trillion defense package with SAVE Act provisions built into it. So the Republicans have come through to attaching provisions of the SAVE Act to 2 must-pass bills, and that's just happened in July. If Democrats want national security funding, they have to pass these bills with the SAVE Act provisions. This is sort of a political tripwire, and it's currently, as I'm making this video, on Thune's desk, okay? Shift is monumental because reconciliation allows Republicans, the Republican-controlled Senate, to bypass Democrats and pass legislation with a simple majority, 51 votes, guys. And I'm going to show you we have 51 votes. Okay, we have it. So fundamentally altering our situation, this bill is, I'm telling you right now, it absolutely should pass. Here's another carrot that Congress threw out, the House threw out. a massive, listen to this, $10 billion financial incentive framework, like a carrot instead of a stick, rather than trying to pass a direct blanket federal mandate. The House pivoted to an incentive-based framework in the budget resolution that passed on July 15th. The House set aside $10 billion to entice states into adopting strict documentary proof of citizenship and voter ID requirements. To put this shift into perspective, this single allocation of the $10 billion is double the amount Congress has spent on federal election administration since 2002. Double. Procedural showdowns and the Senate recess, okay? The parliamentarian has been snubbed, and because reconciliation bills must strictly relate to government spending and revenue, the parliamentarian, I can't even say it, recently ruled the SAVE Act's non-financial voting provisions do not qualify for the shortcut. But the Senate, or the House of Representatives, went around them, and what they did is attach this to other big bills. So I guess you can have your cake and eat it too. But the behavior out of the parliamentarian who was put in, as I said, by Obama, this really pissed off President Trump, and he immediately called for her firing, which, by the way, John Thune has every right to do. He has the power to do it. And yeah, of course, he does nothing. And let me just leave that question there for the comments. Why does John Thune have a parliamentarian who Obama hired and probably, I'm assuming, hates MAGA? So the largest clash is about the August recess, and this is great. Supposed to go on vacation August 7th. This happens every year. It's their, summer break. And right now, there are 19 senators saying we can't take the recess without the SAVE Act passed. No vote, no recess. This is sort of what they're saying, their slogan. Now, these 18 senators hold this position, plus Vice President Vance. He'll vote if necessary. And Trump just told, keep the Senate. He told Thune, keep the Senate in session until they vote and pass the Save America Act or terminate the filibuster. So one or the other. And Thune has been on TV consistently saying you couldn't use reconciliation to pass the SAVE Act for the last at least year. But it looks like before Senator Graham died, all the talk about he had the votes for President Trump, he I think did have Thune and the votes. I really actually believe that. He convinced Thune that there was a legitimate way to use reconciliation to pass the bill, which there absolutely is. This parliamentarian is obviously in the pocket of the left. And again, write in the comments, why would John Thune keep her around if he can fire her? It's a legitimate question. But Thune is now saying, you're right, there is a way we can use reconciliation to pass this. And that is a modern miracle, okay? Because he was all over, as I said, telling everyone it couldn't be done. This fight, let me just wrap this up. This fight comes down to 4 Republicans, okay, who are holding out. Otherwise, we'd be there already. Murkowski, Collins, McConnell, and Tillis. And McConnell, we don't even know if he's alive, okay? I mean, I want proof of life with him. And that's a side note. These Republicans have joined the Democrats twice. voting that the SAVE Act can't be passed on reconciliation. But as I pointed out, they've attached it to other bills. So they found a workaround. And right now, we have 53 seats in the Senate. So we're one short with J.D. Vance. One of those 4 Republicans, and it looks like Collins would be the one because Thune is in talks with her behind the scenes. So it looks like we are going to have the votes to pass the SAVE Act. Now, 18, 19 senators, that's a pretty big block out of 50 that are saying no recess, but we'll see what happens there. Bottom line is, though, we're 1 out of the 4, and one of those may very well be dead, Mitch McConnell, but we're 1 of the 4 holdout senators away from passing the SAVE Act. Guys, it's going to pass. It is going to pass. So, one way or another, we're getting there. And it's absolutely necessary because without, voter ID and the provisions inside of the SAVE Act, Save America Act, you don't have a republic. And we all know that already. Okay, there's only one reason the Democrats don't like it. It's because they want to cheat. I mean, it's so transparent that it's silly. Anyway, this is the update for the Save America Act. I hope you all stuck with me. Hope you share the video out. Make a comment. Tell me what you think. I'd love to hear it. I'll answer you back. God bless. Have a wonderful night.